Alright, so this is reported category 4, which is quadratics. We covered reported category 2 and 3, which is all about linear equations, solving systems, writing equations, writing systems, solving inequalities, and graphing linear inequalities. Alright, category 4 is quadratics. Those three together is going to make a lot of the majority of the test. Alright, remember the next video that I'm going to do is also going to be doing a practice STAR test, so we'll see how long that video is going to be, I'm not sure. But it's going to be more about testing strategies, like how to go through the test and know what questions to do. Alright, here we have equations, and it wants us to show the function in standard form. So we're just going to be using Desmos, typing it in. Alright, anytime I have equations that I need to type in, I need to do that. Alright, just give me a minute because I put the wrong calculator in the system. Alright, that should be fixed now. And yes, it is. Alright, so I'm going to move it and type in the original equation. And I'm going to type in the answer choice, first one that I see, and see if that's going to match it. Match means that you do not see any of the first color, that it overlaps, that the red is all gone, and you see blue. Alright, that question is gone because that one does not match. Alright, we go to the next one. It has 18, everything's the same, but it's plus 25. That matches right on top of each other, so that's my answer. Alright, going right next to it. Notice I didn't see any more red. Here represents the axis of symmetry is the line that goes straight down the middle. So here we go. Wants us to graph the quadratic, so we know it's quadratic, so we're going to click on quadratic, and it wants us to graph a quadratic who has a vertex at -3, 6. So we're going to move this to -3 and up to 6. And then it has a 0 at 5, so we're going to put 5 right there. And there's my graph. Alright, which function has a domain of all real numbers greater than or equal to -7? So that means at -7, I better have a closed circle. This one doesn't have that at -7. This one doesn't have it at -7. This one has an open circle at -7, and then a closed circle at -7 because it had equal to, and then an open circle at 2. And so that would be my answer. Okay, we go here. We're going to type it in and see what the answer is, the solution. So we type in just like when we did in systems, we typed in whatever was on the left side of the equal sign. And then because it doesn't have a variable on the right side, we're going to put y equals 81. And we're going to zoom out until we see the horizontal line at 81. And we're going to click on the 2 dots. Notice it gave us 3 dots, but we don't want the y-intercept. We want where it crosses the actual graph. -16 and +2. Okay. This says which... the zeros of the quadratic function are located at 3 and 0 and -4 and 0, so it wants to know what would be the product. The product is the opposite of these values, so x plus 3, this one says minus and minus, and then, oh wait, sorry, it was a +3, so it should be a -3, sorry, opposite sign, and then this is a -4, so the opposite sign would be a plus, so it's the first one. Alright, this one was in the standard form. We know it's a quadratic. It gave us the value, so we can go ahead and use Desmos so we can figure out what the vertex would be. Alright, so it said a was -1, so -x squared. B, oh wait, it has parentheses, so negative parentheses x. The letter C is 3, so -3. I'm just plugging it into the formula they gave us. I forgot I already had parentheses. And then the B is 2, so we're going to put +2 in the back. And we're going to zoom in by using the home button. My my vertex, is 3, 2. So move it over to 3 and to 2. And then one of my x-intercepts, that's a decimal, so I can't use that. I can use the y-intercept though, so the y-intercept is at -7. So let me move this dot over to -7, and we got our graph. Remember, you can't graph decimals, you're going to have to do whole numbers. Alright, we're going to type in these equations and we're going to look to see which one has the closest table to it. So we type it in. We don't have to use y equals if we don't want to. We can if you feel more comfortable. That's fine. 348.1x minus 334.2. Right. We have a graph. We're going to hear the settings and the table, and we're going to put in 2.25. That is close to 143. Let's see if the rest of the numbers are close as well. Because remember, this says the best model. So it doesn't mean that it's going to be accurate. It's the one that's going to be closest. 158, 166, that's close. 3. Close, not that much. 3.25. Yeah, that one's really close. 350. And then 375. Alright, all of these values are close, so my answer would be that one. If you want to be more sure, then we can just go right here, change the equation. Notice I didn't say change the top equation, I just said change this one right here. Or change it to what it was. What it says, negative 334.2. All those values are negative, so that one wouldn't work. So we can try the next one, which is 0.001, and then this is a plus sign, and this is 35.67, and those are way numbers bigger, so that means that my answer was the first one. Excuse me. Again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to type in the equation, the first one, and then we'll just manipulate the table. Alright, so 0.05x squared plus 0.74x. We go to settings, we did the table, and we change this to a 1. That's 0.79, so that doesn't work. So we go back here to the equation on the table, and what they're doing is they're adding a plus 9.17 in the back. And that still gives me a positive number, and this is supposed to be negative. Right? Okay. So then these two are gone. Alright, we go to the next question, the next equation, which says that this should be 0.26, and this should be a minus 3.11, and then we should take the 9.17 off, and that gives me negative 2.5. Alright, and what if we did change this one to a 4? Yeah, no, this is matching. Alright, it's matching, so we're clicking this one. Alright, we move on to the next one. Alright, it says that it gives you the characteristics of a function and the characteristics of the equation. Determine which statement is true or false. Okay, an equation is an equivalent equation is x minus 4 squared equals 4. Alright, well, let's type them in. They're both the same thing. The only thing is that this the equation was actually setting it equal to 0 and telling me, hey, I want you to tell me what the x-intercepts are. Well, we just need to match up this and see if it matches what they said. That should be x minus 4 squared, if I'm not mistaken, that's what it said, equals 4. Equals 4. Remember, it doesn't let us do that. So put y equals 4. My answers are 2 and 6, and my x-intercepts are negative 2 and 10. So that doesn't match up with anything. Alright, so we're going to put nope. And then that the axis of symmetry is x equals 4. Let's look at the vertex. It is x equals 4 because the vertex is 4, comma 36, negative 36. So this is true for both of them. The minimum, nope. The minimum was 4, the negative 36. And the zeros were negative 10 and 2. Alright, so we're going to try to figure out which one of these best matches this. And when we mean match, we're not looking for the graph to be identical because this graph has different settings than this one. So we're looking for the x-intercepts and for the vertex. For those 3 points to be in the same numbers so that we can say, hey, this is equivalent. Instead of using t, we're using x. Remember, we got to use x. Alright, we're looking for there's only one x-intercept, so that one's gone. I need it to be 0 and at 64. Alright, we change this one to a plus sign right here. Still only one x-intercept, so that one won't work. Change it to plus 64. Hey, let's see, this has two x-intercepts. Those are right. Alright, let me see if I can zoom out and figure out what that curve is. 2 and 64. And that is at 2 and 64. So this was my answer. Alright, let's close this out. Go to the next question. Alright, the graph of the quadratic function passes through -1, -5, and has a vertex of -2, -4. Which pair of equations can both be used to model this graph? Alright, first we're going to look at the vertex. The vertex is -2 and 4. That means that all the ones that have a vertex should have those inside. So this one, instead of both, should model these, okay? So that means that both equations have that +2, that -2 and -4 in it. Right, so it's easier to check the vertex form. The vertex form would have the numbers, one of the numbers inside and one of the numbers outside. Alright, -4 needs to be on the outside. That means that I would take these two out. Alright, then -2 has to be in the inside, and that has to be the opposite, which is +2. Alright, so what I have to do now is just figure out, hey, which one of these two is going to have the ordered pairs that I need. So I'm going to go and type it in. Because the first equation is identical, it's that second equation that's different. So we're going to type in -x squared minus 4x minus 8, and we're going to type it, well, we only need to do one. We're going to do the table, and we're going to change the values to what I want them to see. I want to see if -1 is oh, hey, look, -1, -5, and -2, -4. So this one's it, like right off the bat, that one's it. It says it wants us to write the function that has a vertex at 1, 46. So that means that both one's going to be in the inside, 46 is going to be on the outside. So this one gets taken off, and so does this one. I have these two left. So I'm going to type them into decimals and see which one's going to give me 3, 10. So we close this out. 9 parentheses x minus 1 squared plus 46. We're going to hit the table, and we're going to do 1 and 46 is there. What about 3? 3 and 82, so that one is not it, which means my answer has to be this one right here. Alright, we go to the next one. It wants to know what would be the value of b, alright, that would satisfy this equation. So we're just going to try these out. See which one's going to be the closest to it. We're going to hit the home button so we can see this better. X squared. The first one says to do 1, so plus x plus 6. Nope, that doesn't look like it. Next answer choice is -2, so let's put -2. Doesn't look like it either. Next answer choice is a 3, so a +3. Alright, that does not look like it, because it's not crossing the x-axis, so the last one is -1. Let's see if that works. Huh. Something happened here that is not... it's a -6. Look at that. And then those are in the right spot. So I type over here, and the bottom one it was fine, so it is -1. Alright, here's gross solutions at 7 and -8. That means that those are the x-intercepts. So we're going to type it in and see which one has x-intercepts at +7 and -8. X squared plus x minus 56. This one is at -8 and +7, and that's the one that we want. We go to the next question. What can we say regarding this? This would be domain is all real numbers, which it doesn't have this on here. The 0 would be at a negative, between -4 and -3, so this one's out. Oh, I just said it has zeros between -3 and -2. Alright, so there we go. Alright, what is true about this? We type that into decimals. We figure out what the x-intercepts are. Alright, let's see. 4x squared minus 36x plus 81. It only has one x-intercept. So we're looking for the one that only says 1. So this would be the only one that says 1. Alright, next question. We take this off. Alright, it wants to know which one's going to have that solution set. So we're going to treat this as a system of equations. And write 2x squared plus 15. Press enter because that's where the equal sign is. And then a negative 11x. So this is different from the other one that we did. The other one we had to do y equals. Just 1 minute. Okay. Last time we did y equals because it was just a number, but this has a variable in it, so we can automatically just put that in there. Okay, you're going to click right here where you see that they intersect. It gives you 2 dots. My x values are my answers, so negative 3 and negative 2.5. Let me get the x, negative 3 and negative 2.5. There we go. Alright, here we're going to graph it and see what the domain and the range is. Remember, the domain is all real numbers, so that we can take off. Because it's just a regular equation, there's no word problem telling us that we can only use certain numbers. So we need to figure out what my vertex is, because that is what my range is going to be. Sorry, we're in summer school, so it's the bell. Alright, negative 8. So I'm looking for the one that says negative 8 in it, and this is it. Alright, last question. Here's the graph. It was transformed to create the new one. So what I know is that it reflected over the x-axis, because it's upside down. And then I can look at the vertex and figure out that, hey, it shifted over 3 units to the left. And then I also can look at the vertex for the blue and count that, hey, it went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units up. So it was shifted or translated, whichever way you want. Alright?